thanks everybody for joining us today, 1st of December. I'm really excited to be here with Siobhan from ReJean. I know we're all going to be inspired and learn quite a bit from Siobhan today, and also get a good look at her studio behind her. So super excited. So those are, I think I know most of you who are on the screen, but just to give you a little bit of background on the Creative Entrepreneurs Club and Fashion Foundry. So Fashion Foundry and Creative Entrepreneurs, we work alongside each other. We both sit underneath the Future Economy umbrella. The Creative Entrepreneurs Club is all about supporting, connecting, upskilling the wider creative community. And Fashion Foundry's clues in the name, we're really about helping the fashion industry in Scotland. So again, supporting, connecting, and really helping to grow the industry here. So we've got lots of things that are going to be happening in 2021. So watch this space, follow us on Instagram, and we'll be sharing what we're up to very soon. So this event is recorded today, so just to let everybody know that. We want to save some time at the end for some questions. So if the questions kind of come up as we're talking, please just drop them into the chat box and we'll make sure we save some time. So without further ado, we'll kind of get started. So Siobhan, hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us today, and for giving us some of your time and showing us your studio. I know you've got a little short video to share with us soon. But first of all, let's just start talking about you and your brand and your vision and what it's all about. Tell us about ReJean.
So the kind of vision for the brand was sort of to show that you can create a kind of high-end luxe product or garment from reclaimed materials. That was kind of always the aim, to sort of elevate that sort of what people expect that you can do with sort of old textiles, and kind of create something just as good as what's on the market already, like from new fabrics. The brand kind of started in 2018. It had been an idea that I'd had in my head kind of for quite a few years, but I just didn't quite have the sort of drive or confidence or motivation. Like the thing that happened to make you start hadn't happened yet, basically. So yeah, in 2018, one of my kind of freelance jobs that I kind of relied quite heavily on, they went into administration. And so, or it was like the end of 2017. And so my income, I didn't really know, I didn't have a lot of security on where my jobs were coming from. I was quite newly freelance. I was working on a lot of theatre jobs, how many like in-house shows the Sean were doing, and then I had to find like other things out with that. So it was just quite stressful. And then I just sort of had a bit of a late Sunday night, like, what on earth am I doing with my life moment? And I'd already been like thinking about the brand, and then I just kind of set up the Instagram, and like I spoke to a few like close friends and family, and you know, if you say it out loud, it sort of holds you accountable. And and so I'd done that, and then I made the first sample, and then I liked it, other people liked it, and I made a few more, and things just started happening.
Wow.
People, you know, when people say if you start, you know, things start moving. I basically just started, and then things happened. But I got some good press early on, which was really lucky and gave me a huge boost to like keep going. So I got into Hood magazine when they had just started. I think their second issue was a denim editorial, so they ended up finding me, and you put one of my jackets in the magazine. And when you've just started and only made like a couple of pieces, and that happens, and you're just like, nobody's ever going to care about what on earth you're doing, that was like a huge boost. And then when I'd done the first proper job in January 2019, the Herald got in touch the week after, or the month after, and I
Oh.
thought it was a bam up. I thought they were like winding me up. I thought it was like a joke email. And my dad used to work for the Herald, so I was like, "Do you know this person? Like, what is going on?" And like when I tried to email her back, it didn't work because she just started working at the Herald. And so, anyways, I spoke to her on the phone, and it wasn't a hoax. And I was like, "All right, okay."
Oh,
So,
amazing.
and then it was like in the Saturday newspaper, so I was pretty chuffed.
Oh, but you're right.
Um,
I think sometimes starting something is the hardest part, isn't it? So to
yeah,
have those few kind of early boosts must have been really motivating and really
totally.
pushed you forward on everything.
It just gives you a bit of validation, like, okay, people
Uh,
like what I'm doing. There's a point in continuing.
yeah.
But also for me, like to create a brand using like spending a lot of money on new materials and knowing that I'm just one person who doesn't have like a lot of skill and marketing knowledge. You know, if I make this whole collection, who's actually going to buy it? How am I going to sell it? How am I going to find that customer when you have no knowledge in that area? So for me, working with secondhand materials, it was less of a sort of waste on the world and on like my pocket. Do you know what I mean? Like there was that. It was like it felt like less of a risk factor if I was
Yes.
working with so yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And then, so Siobhan, you kind of touched on your freelance work before you launched the label. How long were you working before you went and launched?
So well, I lived in London for about 3 years, and that's kind
Ah,
of
okay.
key to the whole story.
Mm.
So when I graduated uni, my part-time job at uni was in Levi's in Manchester, and how I moved to London, I just got a store transfer to the London store, and I was working as a tailor there. But like a denim tailor, so we were doing like rip repairs and like tapering jeans, like tailoring jeans and stuff. It wasn't that exciting. Um, but I kind of got that kind of first look into like people that really care for their clothes, because in London you got these like denim heads, I call them. They come in with these like Japanese style beige jeans,
Yes.
or like just like the raw Levi's denims, the cyber one, unwashed ones. I can't remember what they're called now. It's been so long. Yeah, they would come in, people would have these jeans for like 10, 20 years, and they constantly get them repaired and repaired, and to the point where, you know, they're like, please just buy a new pair, like these
Yeah.
are past it, you know. But it was that whole really valuing your clothes and, you know, really caring, so that was nice. And then when I worked in Rocket in London,
Oh,
I worked
yes.
at Rocket Recycled, and that was my last job before I moved back to Glasgow. It was like during the hot pant epidemic of the noughties, when like every girl was rocking around in like hot pants or turn up shorts with like tights or whatever. So I basically made like a good chunk of them. That was our job
Amazing.
in Rocket. We would take bales and bales of old denim and cut off the legs and turn them into shorts.
Ah,
And
okay.
what we done with the leftover denim wasn't like a care, it wasn't a thought. We just bagged them up and they went. So there was a lot of like really, really nice jeans. To me, I didn't even want to cut them up because they were perfect like as they were. Is my connection okay?
You paused there a little bit, but I'm not sure if it was my connection or yours, but
So yeah, we would bag all them up, and to me denim is like a really hard wearing fabric. The whole
yes.
history of denim is like it's made to really last. It was made for like laborers back in whenever in America. So yeah, it's such a hard wearing fabric that I thought it had another lease of life in it. So
Yes, yeah.
yeah, I guess that was when the seed was planted, and then I just kind of had to find the right time to start it.
I see. I mean, that must have given you a lot of knowledge anyway. Do you know what I mean? Working with denim for that period of time.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, good. So Siobhan, I'm really excited about this little video that you've prepared for us. So shall we have a little look at that? And then we've got lots more
Yeah.
questions that I want to ask you as well. But
Okay.
let's
It's
see
only
this
like
video.
a minute long, so I'm gonna share the
Okay,
screen.
so hopefully everyone can see the screen.
Um,
While we do that, I might just take my jumper off because it's going on.
Let me know if that works.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna click play. This was shot yesterday in like an hour and edited in 2 hours. It's like, it's just a wee thing.
Oh, it's great though.
Mostly because I don't want to walk around with a laptop to my face.
So is that a little balcony area that you've got, Siobhan, that we were looking down
Yeah,
at?
there's like a mezzanine upstairs, so that's where I store most of the jeans and fabric. And I think there's about 6 or 7 bins of like scrap material. So
Okay.
that I organised last week. So I kind of like, I need to actually start working my way through that or donating some of it, because there's a lot. And I refuse to bin any of it. This is my buttonhole machine, with what you just saw there. That's like my pride and joy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, a little look into the studio.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks so much for doing that. That was really great to see. So you mentioned the denim that you don't use, you donate.
Well, I use all the scrap material. I try to repurpose it myself into like accessories, like bags and face masks and different stuff. Like in my head, I will use it all, but there's such a huge volume up there that like I should probably get rid of some of it. So one of my kind of aims for next year is to find, like, there's a lot of schools and colleges that will take scrap material, but I think you can recycle if you produce a certain amount of it. I think you can recycle it at Denny's up in near Falkirk.
Okay.
So I'm trying to sort of look into that to see if like we can collectively come together and do it, because I've been told that you need to have like produce a certain like pretty big amount. So
I see.
Logistics, but yeah.
But good that you're just trying to use every little scrap, and none of it's going to go to waste.
Yeah. I feel bad. I can't bin anything. So it's like, are you being environmentally friendly or are you a hoarder?
Oh, but that's great. So Siobhan, I've got a whole list of questions and things that I want to ask you today. And one was, because I've spent some time chatting to you and looking at all of your product, and it's lovely. But who would you say is your target customer? Who do you design for? Who do you create for?
Who do I design for? So we actually I think one of my downfalls is that I try to market the brand as like to all, and like that it's unisex. But I guess my target customer is like the sort of the people that are into that sort of workwear aesthetic, that are into like genderless clothing, that aren't looking for like something really fitted or whatever. People that want something that will kind of last the test of time. Yeah, I guess like age range, you're looking at like 25 up to like 45, even 60. People that are fashion conscious and that are happy to invest in something.
Yes, yeah. And do you make to order as well, Siobhan?
So we do drops and we do made to order. So we've recently started developing our custom jacket offering. So we've like developed like a menu. Because before it was just like, oh, order a custom jacket, we'll like talk you through the process and we'll like co-design it. But I guess if it's too sort of open to the consumer, I guess, then it's like too many options, or too many things that you could or couldn't do. So yeah, we developed the sort of menu to be like, these are the kind of different pocket options, the different patchwork styles, the different shapes, like sleeves, like to kind of like help the customer sort of see their finished product in their head. And obviously, they wouldn't be like
too overwhelmed with it.
Options, it's just sort of, because it's a hard one to sell. So we're constantly trying to work on that. It's hard when you're trying to like think of all of that side of the business when you're also making everything. So
of
it's
course.
a constant struggle, but it's good because you're always learning, because I'm trying to do all of it. So I learn a lot every day.
You must learn, every day. You must learn a new lesson every day.
I learn every day.
I mean, that's what I say to people that I speak to that have got their own brands. You are really trying to wear all these different hats, aren't you? You're being creative, you're being commercial, you're doing the accounts, you're doing this, you're doing everything. And it's a juggling act, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so it's men and women. It's like a genderless brand, isn't it,
Yeah,
Siobhan?
genderless. But the drop that we done last night, we kind of tailored it more to men. But I mean, I've tried them on. Like they'll look good on everyone.
Yeah.
But we've tailored it more to sort of fit perfectly on a more male form. And then we find that this sort of oversized boxy fit works on women as well. So
that's true. It's better that way around, isn't it? Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of nailed the fit on this drop, so I'm excited.
That's really exciting.
Proud of it.
And when does this drop launch?
It just launched last night.
It just launched last night.
Right now.
Perfect timing for this then. Yeah. So I've not looked at that, so I'll have to have a little look.
We shot the product shots in Alexandra Park at 3 p.m. yesterday.
Oh wow!
And had the images online for 8. So.
I mean, oh, well done. That's a quick turnaround, isn't it? And shooting a video and shooting that short video yesterday as well. Wow.
Yeah, yesterday was a productive day, Katie.
It sounds it. So, and in terms of how do you sell, Siobhan? Are you direct to consumer? Do you sell through any
direct to consumer mostly? I have one stockist in London. It's like a women's wear sort of sustainable, eco-friendly store. They sort of it's called in Neos. Neos is their brand, and then they've set up their own shop. So I don't pronounce it very well, but in Neos, they're in Newton Green. So please go check them out next time you're in London when it's safe to travel, obviously. So I sell in there, which is great because the store is like beautiful inside. And I've got quite a few like isolated customers just from people see me in there, so that's been really good.
Yeah.
And then I sell online from our website, and when we're allowed, I'll have like custom fittings and stuff in the studio. Obviously not right now, but yeah, so I let people come and make appointments to come and see me and try things on. And yeah, and then if you're in Glasgow, if you want a custom jacket, I can also obviously do like a face-to-face fitting, but otherwise I tend to just do them on Zoom, which is quite good because then we can kind of work with anyone
anywhere. Yeah, that's good. And do you find having a presence down in London does drive kind of traffic to your website?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ineos aren't huge, but I've had like just from being in there, and also I have like our red label is quite like eye-catching. So I've had a few people who've like driven past being like, oh my God, I saw your label like in the window. And I was like, that's pretty impressive that you just caught the label in the window. But yeah, no, it has generated a little bit of traffic and quite a few sales, so it's been good. But I'm hoping to sort of next year work on the sort of structure of the brand a bit more and try to get into a few sort of bigger retailers.
Okay.
Somehow I'll probably be speaking to you about that next weekend.
Yes. feel free. So we kind of touched on your sourcing denim earlier, Siobhan, but what, in terms of what you do with it at the end of its life cycle, but where do you source your denim from? How do you go about doing that to kind of to then repurpose it?
It's a big process. I have a friend who runs a vintage shop, and he helps me. I get denim from him from his supplier at Textile Recycling Centre. So I get it from there, and that's basically all charity shop donations, but they get them in bulk. It's kind of tapped into like the whole rag trade system. But I also go out and handpick from charity shops. And I get a lot of donations from customers as well. A lot of people get in touch and they're like, oh, I've got these old jeans, like, can I drop them off to you? And we've actually had quite a lot of donations this year, which has been really nice.
Wow, that's great.
And yeah,
and do you have
I sometimes get like grade B denim on eBay, like wholesale, if I'm running out or if like I can't. Because with the whole pandemic, I've not been able to use my normal supplier, so I had to just get a little bulk wholesale order on eBay, which was fine. But I'm hoping everything will sort of open back up again soon. and I'm
Yes.
trying to sort of work with charities. Like I want to work with Shelter and like
Okay.
Oxfam directly to like pick from their rag trades.
Yeah.
But it's harder than you think, sort of getting through all the sort of
Yes.
big company basically, or big charity. But yeah, work in progress.
Yeah. And is there when you're sourcing the denim, Siobhan, you talked about the different grades there. Is there anything that you're looking for in particular? Can you work with most denim?
Um,
You have a criteria that you need to kind of follow?
yeah. Generally, I mean, it's better for me if I can get my hands on sort of old Levi's or Wranglers, like kind of
Okay.
heavier weight stuff, because I'm making jackets out of it. The heavier the weight, the better.
Mm-hmm.
But then the lighter stuff I can rework into like accessories and things. So I can work with most. My kind of main stipulation is that it has to be 100% cotton.
Okay.
Um, yeah, basically. So no stretch in it, and preferably no polyester.
Yes.
And the heavier the weight, the better. But if there's like the stuff that I get normally is marked or might be worn at in some places, like it's not perfect. And if it is perfect, then I'll kind of be like, well, maybe I won't cut this up. Maybe I'll give it to somebody, or I'll give it back to somebody, or whatever.
Yes.
It depends. But yeah.
Okay. So you kind of
The
want the
heavier the weight, the better.
imperfections in a way. Do you know what I mean? To be
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to.
you want stuff that's like imperfect. Otherwise, what you're cutting, I mean, even though you've got it because somebody has discarded it, you're still cutting up a perfectly good garment.
Perfect.
But then
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, you're gonna make another perfectly good garment from it. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah,
weighing it up, isn't it? It's weighing it all up.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it's yeah.
So tell
Sometimes
us.
it's better to just do and not think too much.
I know, I know. Do you know what it is? We're all still learning, I think, when it comes to sustainability. And I had a really good chat with Mila. I don't know if anybody saw the chat we did with her from the Centre for Sustainable Fashion. It's on the blog, the Fashion Foundry blog, if you've not seen it. But she talks a lot about, sustainability. It's a journey. We're all still learning. And it is sometimes a trade-off. It's what's right for your business and your business purpose. So it is just about weighing it all up and going into things with your eyes open and having the facts and the knowledge around it to make the right decisions for your brand. And to tell us, Siobhan, about your design and development process then. Do you design all your product? Do you produce, you touched on your kind of product launch that you've just launched yesterday, but what is your process? How often do you release a collection? Do you do it all yourself? Do you have any help?
I do all the sewing myself. I have a lovely intern slash assistant, Marie. She's doing her master's in fashion marketing, so she helps me out 1 day a week and helps me with like the website and the social media and like content and stuff like that. Which is an absolute godsend, and it kind of works out well because she can she's sort of learning everything on her course, that everything she's learning she's sort of already doing
Okay.
and ReJean, and then obviously with the production I'm kind of slowing everything myself. So design wise, we work with this sort of workwear aesthetic. We have this blank canvas of like a chore jacket, and I'll sort of research different little like pocket details and things just through going through the internet and things. But basically my design process is quite intuitive. I sort of get all our denim in and I'll sort of handpick the colours and the shades together. Or if it's like a custom order, me and the customer will pick the fabrics and we'll talk about stuff. But then I'll take the jeans apart and I'll just start patching it together. So I sort of respond to what's in front of me. I'll have a few like design details that I know I'm going to stick to. So it's a bit different
Yeah.
to others, but it's enjoyable because when I'm making something, I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out until it's like finished. Like once I've done a front piece, got the 2 front pieces, and I'm like, right, okay, how am I going to do the back, and like where's this color going to go, and how does that work with the colors that are on the front and the shades. So it's like a whole journey,
Uh-huh.
which is quite nice. Yeah, but then sometimes you're like, oh my god, this is awful, and then when you finish it, you're like, actually, it's quite nice. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm quite like bad for self-criticizing.
Oh, and then in terms of, because you're repurposing a denim, I guess with my background, I'm used to buying fabric and getting it tested and kind of getting that guarantee, if you like, from the mill, but you don't have that. So are there any kind of additional processes that you need to put in place?
So
Any
we
additional
wash all the
steps?
denim when we get it in. That's the kind of big thing. But we wash it either in-house, or sometimes we'll do a big bulk wash at a local laundrette.
Okay.
And that's just to, obviously, it's easier to work with when it's been freshly washed, and also because we're getting it second hand, it's just to make sure everything's nice and
Make
clean.
sure everything's okay.
But we don't recommend like overly washing denim. Like denim can last so much longer the less you wash it. But obviously, if we're sending something out as like a new garment, we need to wash the fabric. But that's the main process. And then sort of unpicking, we've kind of got that down to a T. I can rip apart a pair of jeans in like 5 minutes, maybe less.
Yeah,
So,
I bet.
like,
I'd love
listen,
to.
like it's like second nature. I'm just like got my wee process.
I would love to see that actually, Siobhan. How quick you can time you.
I had my friend round the other day, and yeah, we were just chatting, and I was just unpicking jeans. As we went, and she was like, "You've really got that down." I was like, "I."
Amazing. So I mean, we kind of touched on this as well earlier, but you know how mad your days can be, wearing all these hats and covering all these different tasks. But describe a typical day for us, Siobhan, for you in your studio.
Well, recently I've been sort of in hardcore production mode, so I've just been making a lot. So it's been quite good because I'm always sewing and cutting, that's kind of what I most enjoy. But I'll try to start the day with like answering emails to kind of, while you're drinking your coffee, to do a little bit of admin, feel a bit on top of that. And then I pretty much just get sewing. Yeah.
Just get going.
And I'll try to like fit in some social media. Like if I don't have stuff, content planned, then I'll try to show some process shots, or I'll maybe double check what we have got scheduled to make sure that's still okay to go out. Double check the captions and things like that.
Yeah. So and designing, developing, yeah. It's really is everything. Designing, marketing, customer service, making busy. And so I guess what I'm interested to know, Siobhan, since you launched, because anyone that's got their own brands knows that it's not an easy journey. We use that word a lot. It is a journey, and there's lots of ups and downs. Is there anything you can share with us? The good bits, the bad bits, anything you've learned that you can share with the audience?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I wish I'd kind of and the good and the bad. Well, I guess the hardest bit is for us, we do everything as one of one, really, and that can be hard to sort of sell, and it's a lot more time sort of photographing everything because you're not just doing a line. So that's like, I've made that quite hard for myself. But the sort of best part, I guess, is the community in Glasgow. I've got a lot of good friends, a few of them are on the call, who, we're all building our own brands at the same time. So we have this sort of little WhatsApp group that's basically a support group.
Oh, that's good.
That's great. And yeah, because Glasgow is quite small and really friendly, like, you can collaborate with people really easily. So like, I've worked with a lot of photographers, producers, like there's just a lot of creative energy here that you can tap into and sort of create cool things with. So that's really, that I find that amazing. And it's not competitive, it's like, it's more of a collaborative vibe rather than a competitive vibe, which I know a lot of people say, but it is true.
No, I would agree with you on that, actually. I've been surprised since moving back from London just how collaborative it is and how much support everyone wants to give each other. It's really nice and really special, actually, because you don't get that in many places. I know I'm just comparing to London, but but
that's what I'm comparing to as well.
But that's good. And then in terms of your future then, Siobhan, for the brand, what are your future aspirations? for the brand?
I'm going to go ahead and say this to a lot of people, but I really want to get the brand into Good Hood, and I've been talking about this for a while. So I'm trying to sort of change the collections so that they're a little bit better structured, and then hopefully send a really big sexy pitch to Good Hood, like send them samples and all this stuff, and hopefully they'll actually like speak to me. Slowly we'll get there. So that's my main aim. It's very specific and like single-minded, but yeah, that's my sort of main goal. I can make that happen.
But by doing that, it's to grow the brand and improve brand exposure, and you just feel like that's really where you want to be.
I mean, I've sort of started the brand on a whim, so it's like the last few years are sort of like, you're testing an idea, and obviously I've been selling and I've built up like a nice following and stuff like that, but I'm constantly developing the product. So seeing where the product is now to where we first started is like amazing, because I think it's come on leaps and bounds, and yeah, so that's nice, and I'm excited to see how I can take it forward next year as well.
Yeah. And do you think you'll carry on with the custom orders? Do you see that being your feature? You'll do the both? You'll kind of carry on with your collections?
Yeah. I'm trying to move the custom orders to be a bit more of like our bread and butter.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a constant struggle, because at first I was like, oh, it's mostly just the drops, but actually the custom orders are great, and it's a really nice process to go through. So I'm trying to sort of push them more and develop that service more.
Okay.
And have the sort of two go hand in hand.
Yeah. And a lot of businesses, I mean, I know, thinking back when I was at Reese, when we did a made to measure service on the tailoring, and it was really popular, and also kind of gave us a really good insight to the customer and what they were looking for, and it kind of helped us with the rest of the collection as well. And I think more and more customers are quite into that personal service, aren't they? If you can offer it. But I think you're right with, you talked earlier about your menu, giving the customer a menu, because I think the only challenge with it is it does become a bit overwhelming if you kind of give them too many choices. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sure that'll work really well.
Yeah, no, it's been received quite well, but then, as you said, it's overwhelming with too many choices, and we probably maybe have put too many choices in there. And
it's a fine balance, isn't it? Because you don't want to restrict them too much.
But it's good. And we individually like batch each piece, especially the jackets and the bags.
Okay.
So we batch we number them all. Like I number them all by hand using like a wee embroidered chain stitch, which is a really nice thing to do. But then when you're doing a whole job and you're like, oh God, I need to do all of these. But it's nice because it forces you to slow down and sit and just like do some embroidery, which is a nice chill thing to do.
Yeah, and so nice for the customer to have that as well.
Yeah, totally. So when you've got it, that's yours, and that's the only one only one of them in existence in the world. So it's quite nice. It makes it a bit more special.
More special, and adds value to the garment, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The customer kind of understands more on the value. Now we've got a couple of questions here, Siobhan, so I'm wondering if we cover these now. We've got one from Bevan. Hi, Bevan. So you mentioned something about grading denim. How does that work? Could you chat a bit more about it? Thanks.
So grading denim was something I'd done in Rocket. We would get bales and bales of it, and it would be like grade A, B, C. For us, we were grading it into, are they good enough for hot pant turn-ups? Are they not that good? So we'll put them into like just raw hot pants, shorts, turn-up shorts or hot pants. But I think grade A in terms of denim is like jeans. Grade A is like kind of, you'd be looking to pay maybe 30-40 pounds in a vintage shop for grade A. It's near enough perfect. There's not many marks on it. It's like new, I guess. Grade A is like new. Grade B is marked and worn, but not too obviously that if you didn't care, if you weren't too bothered about it, you could still wear them. They'll be a bit cheaper, and grade C is just a little bit less. So I hope that answers that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But I wasn't grading the denim to be worn in the shops. We were grading the denim to be cut up to be turned into denim hot pants and shorts. So I only work with grades when I'm buying like a batch to then use to use to produce stock, basically. So it's a bit different now. I've not like had that big a relationship with that whole system for that long. I guess. So I'm not an expert.
No, but out of interest then, Siobhan, when you were at Rocket, were they looking at the different grades to then make a decision as to what the denim is used for?
Basically, yeah.
I see. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, so they had so much of it. They had so much of it that it wasn't like a big decision for them. Like they wouldn't have like bales that were for the store. They would just like, okay, Rocket Recycle can have these bales. You do what you want with it. You sort it out, and then like the shop staff would have the other bales and they would organize it. So
I get you. I get you. Okay.
Bevan
said thank you, so that's definitely answered that question. And then we've got one from Jolene. Have you ever worked with influencers? This is an interesting one, actually, to try and get your product out to a larger audience.
I have, but like in a sort of weird way, not like I've sent stuff to women that like inspire me and that I respect. Like I sent a jacket to Gina Martin because Gina Martin's amazing. If you don't know, she's an activist. She made up skirting illegal. She just does so much for like women's rights, just equal rights. She's brilliant. So I sent her a jacket, and this was maybe over a year ago. So that got me quite a big boost and quite a few orders, but that wasn't like a paid sort of contract or anything. And then I've sent a jacket to Aja Barber. Again, she puts out a lot of educational content on her platform, and it was more like, you're an influential person, you have a say in sustainable fashion, but also thank you for everything that you've like taught me in a way. So again, it wasn't like a contract, but it's something that I think about, I have been thinking about a lot, and it's a tricky one because when you're a smaller brand, you get contacted a lot by influencers. When they slide into your emails, I'm always like, no. But it's something I would like to sort of develop. I think with influencers, you need to develop a relationship with them. So if you send them a product and see if they'll do a few shots of it, maybe just as a thank you. And then once they have a few more products that you've just gifted them, then you can try to work a relationship with them, which is like maybe slightly paid, but obviously when you're a small brand, you don't have a huge budget for it. So I think it's all about relationship building and picking somebody that you actually like.
Yes,
just like somebody for their following.
Someone that represents the brand and somebody that you would like to represent the brand.
It's hard. I sent a bag to Kelly Harrington. She's a huge name in the denim industry, and she has produced quite a few shots just of this one bag. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you if I've gotten any sales directly from it, but it's good content, and she's just a good person to have wearing the brand. I couldn't say for sure if I've had a sale via her. But I am planning on making her a jacket probably in the new year. So we'll see, because I think she's like a good person to represent the brand, and she is a big film, but she's also like a designer. So just having her out wearing stuff, and she does tend to just she shoots quite often for her own platform, and so she just happens to wear your stuff. Like she's quite good like that. So yeah. It's just finding the person.
Finding the right people. Yeah. Siobhan, out of interest, have you ever done collaborations with people, like a competition maybe with another indirect brand?
Yes. I think we have one going on just now with Underpinned.
Okay.
But in terms of competitions, I've done, apart from this current one, I've done the rest of them sort of individually, like, oh, thank you for following on. I think I gave away a custom jacket last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was just on social media, like getting people to engage with your posts and stuff. So that was good, and that just sort of generates followers. But I've done collaborations like with the artist Molly Hankinson. She done a range of prints, and we kind of went around Glasgow and picked three iconic places. It was Jack and Evans, Kelvinside Meadows, and the Lauriston. And we sort of got some nice source material. She done these amazing drawings, and we put ReJean in the prints. And then I'd done like a jacket corresponding to each print. So that was like a collaboration last year. That's like the official one. And then there's a few we're kind of working on behind the scenes just now that will probably come out sometime next year.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then what about, sorry, I know we've got another question there, which I'll come to in a second. But what about Facebook marketing? Have you ever done that, Siobhan? Is that something you would consider? Yeah.
It's a whole minefield. So this year I've kind of learned a bit more in terms of like business and marketing and stuff. I've been looking into SEO. I've been schooling myself. And I have a good friend, Jay, who helps me out with all that. So I've been learning a lot about ads on Instagram and Facebook. There's a thing called Pixel, which is meant to sort of take information from your engagement and then show your ads to your audience. So we tried that with the last batch of ads, but we didn't find them that they were that we were getting enough traffic for them. They weren't kind of paying off as well as we wanted. So yeah, it's very touch and go. But in my first year, anytime I'd done an Instagram ad, it would almost immediately result in a sale. So they were really good for the first year. And then as I've been sort of growing the business, I've been spending more on like product and like rent and website. So I've kind of been like, I've not really put aside budget for that. So I've been diving back into it slightly recently, but yeah, it's a weird one. It's a minefield.
Yes, I think it can be minefield.
You get less back. I felt like I've gotten less back from the ads this year than I did last year, and that could be the algorithm, that could be Instagram and Facebook taking more of your money and giving you less return, or that could just be that, you know, Facebook and Instagram is basically a marketplace. Like you don't just get a lot of, it's education and it's people selling to you all the time. It's a lot of information. So I think it could also be people just a bit like,
it's making sure you're targeting the right customers as well, isn't it?
It's hard. But it's a process, and it's a lot of learning.
But I think you're right. You know, marketing, of course, is really important, but you need to have the product spot on. So to invest that time and effort on your product development, your customer service, you know, it's only really once you've got those things right that when you do start marketing, it will do well. Do you know what I mean? You want to build up a returning customer, a loyal customer base. You know, that's better, I think, than having loads of customers that kind of follow you, potential customers, but don't really purchase. So it's kind of building up that trust and that loyal customer. So I know we've got another question on here. Okay, so could you show us some products? Is that possible?
Yeah, so I've got, I've got a jacket that's from the last drop. This is just a classic color. And this is like our shipyard inspired pockets, so the end to end from the sides.
Oh, nice.
They're pretty big and deep, and this is made from dead stock denim. So that's like our first range that we've done from dead stock. That was actually found like a house clearance, and apparently it dates back to 1991, which is like my first year, so I thought that was quite cool. This is a custom order for a girl that I need to finish off next week. It's all patchwork, different colours. We like handpicked it all, and we're going to stitch raw seams. It's like, so can you really see that? So that's really special. I'm excited to see that finish. It doesn't look like much right now, but it looks amazing on her. So we just need to.
I was going to say, I bet that's going to be stunning and so flattering.
Yeah, like perfectly fitted to.
Amazing.
And then this is one of our like classic. Can you see that?
Yeah.
This is like all black. This has got repurposed denim pockets. This is made from about 3 pairs of jeans. So you've got like pale grey or lighter grey there, jet black, a bit of corduroy there, and that's like a little green collar. That's actually one of the old jeans.
Is the collar denim as well, Siobhan?
Yeah, the collar's denim. But it's got green on the top and then it's black underneath.
Lovely.
And we always repurpose the belt loop on the back as like a hanging loop. So yeah, it's harder to see all the detail in the black.
I know, in the black.
Already, sorry.
No, don't worry. It gives us, and everyone can have a look at your website after this session. Is it just ReJean?
ReJeanDenim.com.
ReJeanDenim.com. I'll pop it into here, and you can also have a look at on Instagram as well. I've done rejoin. Sorry, ReJeanDenim.com. I hope I've spelled that right. Yeah, that's it there. But I mean, what a fantastic business you're building, Siobhan. And you know, I'm really drawn into these sustainable brands that are doing something different. Do you know what I mean? That are really addressing a problem in a different way. Because there's so many different ways to look at sustainability. And you know, yes, you can use fabrics that have got less environmental impact, but that's just one element of it. How do you extend the life cycle? How do you keep this product around? And that's really what you're doing. You're repurposing it. You're giving it another life. So you're really addressing it in a brilliant.
Yeah, and we launched our repair shop this year, so we're hoping to focus a bit more on that next year. So we offer repairs on any of our garments for free.
Great.
But also we're repairing your existing garments. So like if you have an old pair of jeans or a jacket or something, we can repair that for you. We can do like a really cool sort of visible hand stitch mend, or we can do like something a bit quicker, cheaper on the machine, just cross stitching. So that's something we're trying to like build up as well. But when you're doing it all yourself, it's hard to find the time to do it all. So we're hoping to push it and then have somebody come in to deal with the repair side of it. But yeah, it's just all about trying to keep clothing in circulation longer, really.
Exactly. And is there anybody else doing what you're doing anywhere nearby, Siobhan? Are you the only person? I've not heard of anybody else doing.
And the main one, which is totally different but similar, is ELV Denim. And they take like 2 pairs of jeans, they pair them together and they cut them in half. So you've got like a seam down the center front and the center back of each leg. And yeah, so they're upcycled. It's run by a woman called Anna Foster. You might have heard of her. So yeah, their stuff's quite simple, but you know, I think they obviously focus a lot on like the fit of the jeans. That's why it works. So yeah, they're doing that. But other than that, that's the only sort of big competitor. There's like Atelier Repairs in LA, but they are quite different, and they're in America. They sort of take old surplus clothing and like repair it in a sort of loud, creative way.
Yes.
And with like big, bold, bright stitching on it. They don't actually deconstruct and then, you know, bring it back to life again, if that makes sense. It's like slightly different approach. So yeah, they're pretty cool. So definitely check them out.
So also great that you found this little gap in the market, because I think you know, I speak to so many people, and there's obviously so much creative talent, and you know, people want to do great things, but it's such a competitive market. I always encourage people to try and find a reason for the customer to come to you over somebody else. Because you know, you're small, unless you've got a huge budget and a massive team of people, it's going to be really difficult to compete in an already overcrowded market. So doing something different and having sustainability at the core of your business, and I think you've addressed both of those. So it's very inspiring, and I'm really excited to watch you grow. So I think we've got one final question on here. Can I ask about the production quantity of each piece of clothing you produce? Is
that about the time it takes? Maybe
do you want to take your microphone off? I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Yao Chow? Do you want to take your microphone off? Maybe.
Can you hear?
Hello.
I just want to ask the each product, how many quantity that you produce?
Oh, so basically each piece is like one of one, because the nature of our sort of production methods, we can't really produce garments that are exactly the same. But the dead stock drop that I released last night, I only got 6 pieces out of that, and that's the first drop that we've ever like had a design and then sort of produced a batch of it. So that's the first time we've ever done that. And yeah, I said that we've only got enough for 6 jackets, and that was huge. But it just depends. If we are ever working with fabric from a roll, would always be dead stock, and that's the only time we've actually managed to sort of come into possession of any dead stock, and we managed to find any. But yeah, with the stuff that we make from reclaimed denim, our old jeans, each piece is one off, so there's only one.
One, that's great.
Thank you.
I hope that answered
No worries, I hope that answered your question.
Great. So that's us nearly at 12 o'clock. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions before we wrap up. Feel free to take your mic off if it's quicker and easier. If not, we will wrap up. I think that's all the questions. Well, I've really enjoyed today, and I think there's some great questions there as well. Thanks again, Siobhan, for showing us your studio, your product, and talking us through your journey and how you got to where you are today. Please do go and check out Siobhan's Instagram or website. Just go and have a look at what she's doing, because it's really great, and I'm looking forward to seeing this new collection as well. Siobhan, I'm going to do that straight after this. Yeah, and I really I'm going to enjoy seeing you grow. You've got such a brilliant vision and concept and purpose. So I wish you all success, and thanks very much, and thanks everybody for joining us. I hope you all took something from it. And keep watching what we're up to at Fashion Foundry. There'll be no more events until January now, but we will be sharing our theme for January very soon. So keep following us. Instagram's the best place to follow Fashion Foundry, as we're upgrading our website. So thanks again, and Siobhan, we'll maybe just stay on for a couple of minutes, but I'll say bye to everyone else. Thanks everyone.
Guys, bye. Thanks for joining.